I have dedicated my professional career to the study and control of arthropods.
Okay, part 5 and 6 of Dr. Menton's videos are both talking about the Laetoli footprints in Tanzania. So I'm going to try to take care of these in one part here. So in my part 5, I'm going to cover his part 5 and 6. If you're not familiar, just real quick, the Laetoli footprints were a trackway about 70 feet long that were discovered in Tanzania by Mary Leakey and crew, which consisted of about 3-something million years ago, volcano erupted, thin layer of ash on the ground that was lightly rained upon. Hominids, as well as other African mammals, walked across this. The ash hardened into, cement-like, which was then covered by another ash fall, preserving it, and now it's, got savanna grass and stuff over top of it, and then it was uncovered, and the tracks were preserved. Beautifully preserved footprints. And an amazing find. The hominids consisted of 2 adults and 1 presumed juvenile that was walking in the footprints of the adults. So, make a couple of points about this. However, I'm going to talk about these and see what he says here. He talks about that the feet on the Lucy model were designed to fit around these Laetoli tracks, meaning the tracks are identical to a modern human's, so therefore they thought the hominid that lived there had to have identical human feet, even though the evidence shows otherwise. That's his premise. Let's see here. He talks about how humans walk and about how nothing else alive walks like a modern human with this left-right stride and all this kind of stuff, which is nothing alive walks like a human. We do know that lots of things that are no longer with us did indeed walk very similar to us. Okay, let's see here. He talks about the footprints eroding. After just a few years of being uncovered, they're eroding away, which makes you wonder how they could be millions of years old, which he's just taking a dig at dates. Okay, but that's all right. All right. So his question is, why do they assume that they're a modern human? Why would you are not a modern human? Why would you look at these tracks and imagine that some ape-like creature like Lucy or like Afarensis made these tracks? And in fact, he even claims that he questioned Mary Leakey at a conference about this, challenging her as to why, why do you think it was a early human? Why don't you believe it's a modern human if the tracks are identical to modern humans? And she said, apparently sneered at him and made a comment that, because everyone knows there were no modern humans around then. Meaning, what this means is that, the scientific community knows that the tracks are this many million years old. So therefore, we have to force fit, as he compares it to Cinderella's glass slipper, we have to force fit Lucy's foot into these tracks, even though they don't make any sense. Even though, the logical assumption would be that a perfectly modern human walked here, after the flood or before the flood or something like that. That's his conclusion. One thing about this, the larger of those tracks, by the way, just for information, is 17 centimeters long. So they're smaller than a modern adult human's foot. That's one point. Of course, you could say maybe they were children and even a tinier child, whatever. But if we assume that these are adults, they are smaller than that. But the thing that he doesn't take into account or he doesn't acknowledge, even though he misquotes out of context Donald Johanson about how similar to humans. Johanson was talking about how if you just glance at these tracks, a 4-year-old child would recognize that they're a human track. Because and a layperson would recognize they're a human track. But footprint experts can see that they're not identical to human tracks. Okay? They are different. Okay? And the beautiful thing is, now that we have the complete foot bones intact, in place, we now know that we have Africanus and Afarensis. We know that these tracks fit with afarensis and not with anything else. Meaning they are like a human, modern human's track. They're slightly different. Where are those slight differences? Oh, the length of the toe bones, a few changes like that. So, and what creature that has ever lived fits that? Well, just so happens this species, afarensis, has those exact same. So you can't say, no, we've proven afarensis made the tracks. But if afarensis didn't make those tracks, then something we haven't found yet that has feet exactly like afarensis made those tracks. So for him to be then, okay, now, and he keeps referring back to the stern and Sussman. Remember back, remember the meat hooks, remember the toes, whatever. And he pops up. This is where I know he's being dishonest, because he shows a picture of a human foot and a gorilla's foot. Gorilla's foot, have like the thumb sticking out the side because they have an opposable thumb on their feet. And he says, challenges the audience, which, do you guys know which is the human? As if, even lay persons in the audience, even these people with no formal education in the audience would be able to recognize that the Laetoli tracks were human and not this ape-like foot that Australopithecines had, as he had proven earlier. Nobody has ever suggested, demonstrated, shown ever that Australopithecines had a big toe like a great ape's. Okay? Even the creationists that don't believe that Australopithecines, whatever, even those people, everybody has acknowledged that the foot of an Australopithecine, the big toe, was not opposable and was in a straight line with the other toes like we see in humans. Was it exactly like a human foot? No, it differed a little bit. But the big toe was not sticking out the side like he is saying in that picture. He's being deliberately deceptive. He's trying to play that game where you can make somebody in the audience, make the audience chuckle and laugh because even we're smarter than those stupid scientists. That's what he's trying to do, and it's wrong. Okay, the Stern and Sussman never suggested that Australopithecines had an opposable great toe. They never suggested it. In fact, they state specifically that the toe was in line with the other toes. Okay. That just really, when I saw that, when he put up that slide there, somebody should have thrown a rock at him or something. Somebody from the audience should have thrown something. I don't know what. Anyway, that's just me. All right. He talks about the valgus, which is the fact that humans are knock-kneed, meaning the femurs come down at an angle and then the feet go straight down from that. This valgus angle enables us to walk in a straight line without rocking back and forth. Like the apes, if you ever see apes walking bipedally, they rock back and forth. He describes it very accurately. It's actually a very good description of how this function works. He does an excellent job of describing that. But then he mentions that it doesn't prove that, the organism was bipedal because it has this valgus joint. He brings up the spider monkey and the orangutan. Now, I'm not going to talk about spider monkeys, but the orangutan claim has been repeated by creationists for a long time. Orangutans have the exact same valgus angle as a modern human or Australopithecines, and they're not bipeds. That actually comes from a paper by Kern and Strauss from 1939. Made this claim, and all they claimed is that some orangutans have a valgus angle that approaches that of a human being's. Okay, most orangutans have a valgus angle 0 to about 5 degrees, as opposed to 9 for a modern human. Most of them have no but that's I guess you wouldn't expect accuracy from these peoples. However, this Kern and Strauss paper also stresses that in every other, even with the orangutan femurs with the most extreme valgus angle, the angle approaches a modern human, but the shape of the femur is nothing like a modern human's. Okay? What shaped femur does Lucy have? What did Stern and Sussman conclude about the femur of Australopithecus afarensis? Well, that it's identical to a modern human's, or close to a modern human's. So, really, really, really dishonest of him to make that statement there. And then he quotes from Stern and Sussman about the knee joint, saying that proving that it doesn't show bipedality. Stern and Sussman, I said before, they said there's no doubt that Lucy was an obligate biped. So this quote, yes, they stated that the knee joint shows. He seems to equate living in trees with the opposite of being a biped, as if you can't be a biped up in the trees, meaning your hands can climb while when you come down to the ground, you walk on two legs. That's what Stern and Sussman were suggesting. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go on and do the last part here. I think it'll be the last part.